So I told my wife I was going to do a short long run today. I don't think she's ever looked at me that way before. Hi, I'm Ralph, one of the Ageless Runner. So the reason I'm doing a short long run today has to do with my training dilemma. And that training dilemma is with the time between the 50K and the half marathon is only 5 weeks. Now, if you follow the rule of thumb, and I typically tend to do that, the rule of thumb that says for every mile you do a hard run, wait 1 day before you do another hard run. So if I did 31 miles, that would be a month. But if I wait a month to do another hard run, that's only a week before the half marathon. I'm not going to go out and do a long run the week before a half marathon. I'm just kidding myself. That's really not going to go well. Now in this 50K, we walked a lot. And if you saw that video, you know it rained. It rained first 4 or 5 hours. It was really muddy. I wanted to be safe, so we walked a lot, especially the second half. So it's not like I ran the full 31 miles. So I wondered, maybe it's hard on me as if I'd been able to do the run walk through the whole race. So with that in mind, I thought, you know, I probably don't need a month to recover. Now I know that even after I waited 2 weeks, I did some short runs after 2 weeks, and I was still kind of tired. So now it's 3 weeks. So I thought maybe after 3 weeks, I can do a short, long run. And that'll give me plenty of recovery time, 2 more weeks before the half marathon. So what am I calling a short, long run? Normally 2 weeks before half marathon, if I was training for it, haven't done any previous races, I would probably be shooting to do a long run of 12 to 13 miles, something close to the actual half marathon distance 2 weeks before. That would give me 2 weeks of recovery. But again, just 3 weeks ago, I did this 50K. So I'm doing what I call a short, long run. I'm not going to do 11 or 12, I'm going to do like 8. If I can get 8, I figure that still gives me 2 weeks to recover from it. Hopefully I'm still not too tired and drained from the 50K that I can run 8. If I can do that, hopefully that'll ensure that, you know, I'm still in good condition to do the half marathon and be able to finish. So part of my goal today in this long run is to definitely stay in the aerobic zone. I want this to be an easy short, long run. So I'll be monitoring my heart rate on my Garmin. Here is my Garmin. You can see I'm running about 119 at the moment, 120. 80% of my max heart rate is about 141 beats, I think, 141, 142. My Garmin will go orange if I get up above that 80%. So I'm going to try and keep it in the blue or green range. Now during these last 3 weeks before this long run, I still ran. I still did short runs, short, easy runs. No more than 30 minutes. In fact, the first run I did about 2 or 3 days after the 50K was a 20-minute, very easy run. Since that time, I've done nothing over 30 minutes, or nothing over 3 miles, just short, easy runs. Try and maintain my conditioning, but not tire me out any more than I already am. Now, if you watch my post-mortem video on the race, one thing I said I want to do going forward was get back to the gym and do strength, and I've started that. I've actually gone 3 times, I think. Started getting back into strength. I may talk about what I do at a later video, but I'm back at the gym, working my upper body and my legs. Again, just trying to improve my overall conditioning and core. Core is very important to work. So we'll see how that goes. See, that helps me by time half marathon race day comes. So you can see I'm up now at 2 miles. My heart rate's climbed into the upper 130s, so I'm encroaching on that 80% max heart rate. So I'm walking at the moment. If I go above 141, 142, I will start walking and walk until it comes back down into the low 130s. So I'm using the Runwalk timer on my Garmin Forerunner 245. Right now I've got it set to run for 1 minute 30 seconds and walk for 15. Of course, if I need to, I'll adjust that on the fly. But that seems to be working pretty good this morning. Now sometimes when I'm running, I'll zone out. Before I know it, my pace will have sped up, been going at a faster pace. And then I get into that orange zone. You see my heart rate's up to 143. That's just right above the 80% rate. So when I see that, I stop. No matter where I am in the run walk cycle, I stop and I'll start walking. Of course, I do that only when I want to keep my heart rate in the aerobic zone. If I was doing a threshold run, trying to spend time up there, obviously I wouldn't do that. But today, it's aerobic all the way. As you can see, my heart rate's come down a little over 10 beats per minute. Normally, if it gets down to low 130s, I'll start running again, but it kind of jumped from 132 to 126. So I'm going to start running, and I'll just kind of pick up where I left off on my run walk cycle. So I am essentially at the 45-minute mark, and when I get to 45 minutes, that's when I start taking my first gel. And again, I use these Science and Sports isotonic gels, and I do that at 45 because that should be about a half hour or so before my body runs out of glycogen. Typically that happens at 75 to 90 minutes. So I'm trying to stay ahead of that depletion. So excuse me while I go suck down a gel. Now, I typically consume a gel about every 30 minutes when I have a carbohydrate electrolyte powder in my water bladder. And today I'm using Scratch. So I'll do one about every half hour. Now if I didn't have that in my water bladder, if I was just using regular water, I probably would consume an energy gel every 20 to 25 minutes. But today it'll be every half hour. Particularly when I bring gels with me, I grab a sandwich bag and stick it in my pocket so I can put my empty gel packs in there, but forgot it today, so I'm sticking these empty gel packs in my gym shorts. I'm sure it'll make them sticky, but we'll watch it later. I decided a few runs ago to monitor my cadence when I'm running. So I set my metronome at about 180 steps per minute and found out that my cadence is pretty good. I actually tend to run a little faster than 180, maybe 184, something like that. So I've worked enough on my cadence over the years that I'm fairly consistent in it. So it doesn't hurt for you to check your cadence every once in a while. And one reason why my average pace will increase is sometimes I'll stop and look at a text, and saw some pictures of my youngest granddaughter, who's only 10, water skied for the first time. She just looks so cute out there doing that. You gotta stop and take a look at those pictures, right? So I am the halfway mark, 4 miles, good pulse. Been walking here, so my current pace and average pace are pretty close, but everything's going well. I'm real happy with my heart rate. I'm keeping that well in the aerobic zone. A few times I've encroached up into the threshold zone above 80%, but not too much, so that's working pretty good. So I'm at 5 miles. A couple times again I've gone up above the 80% max heart rate up into the threshold zone, but I try to get back down pretty quick. When I'm done, I'll do a screenshot of my heart rate zone graph, show you how much time I spent in each zone, and we'll discuss it after I take a look at it. There were 2 deer that just crossed up in front of me up here on the path. Very cool, very fun. So I'm at 5.9 miles. Oh, there's a deer. Here comes another one. She's waiting. Can you see her there? She's waiting. She's letting me pass. Oops. Didn't want to scare her too much. Just was a pleasant surprise. So I finished my 8 miles and I feel pretty good. I probably could have run another mile or two, but I felt that would be foolhardy because I really don't know how recovered I am from this 50K. And I want to make sure that I'm recovered from this run, that in 2 weeks I can do that half. So for the next 2 weeks, I won't be doing any long runs, short or not. There'll be short, easy runs, 30 to 40 minute kind of easy runs to maintain my conditioning. So when I get back at home, get cleaned up and take a couple of screenshots of my metrics, we'll look at those and we'll discuss those and see what we might be able to tell from looking at that data. So as I said early in my run, my goal was to have an easy run, and I was going to do that by running aerobically, or said another way, staying out of the anaerobic zones. Anaerobic zones are considered heart rate zone 4, the threshold zone, and heart rate zone 5, which is considered the maximum zone. So my Garmin 245 watch, connected to my phone using the Garmin Connect app, tracks my heart rate during the run, and at the end of the run, I can look at my results and get a graph of how much time or what percent of time I spent in each heart rate zone. So I'm showing the results of my run. You can see the top 2 zones, zones 4 and 5, I spent roughly 10% of my time in the anaerobic zone. Actually, it was all in zone 4, the threshold zone. I spent no time in the maximum heart rate zone, which is good. I never got running that hard. So 90% of my run was done aerobically, only 10% was done anaerobically, which I think is pretty good. I would like to have done a little less. Now let me contrast that. Back in June, I did a 15-mile trail run. This was in preparation for this 50K, where again, I tried to make a conscious effort of running aerobically. Now the results of that were a little different. You can see I only spent about 3% of my time in the anaerobic zone. So I did a much better job in that trail run than I did running around the road yesterday. It's now the day after. And as I mentioned during my videos, sometimes I'm out running, road running especially, I'll zone out and I'll start thinking about things, and pretty soon my pace is sped up and my heart rate has climbed up. I think also there's some relationship to how tired you are. I think the more tired you are, the faster your heart rate's going to increase. At least that's an observation I have. So probably the 10% number in my 8-mile road run was a little more than what I would like to have spent, but we learn from those things and we go forward. Hey, thanks again for watching. I'm glad you tagged along with my run today. I really enjoyed talking with you. If you like this video, I appreciate you scrolling down and hitting that like icon. That helps my channel. And if you're new here, I'd love to have you stick around and subscribe. In any event, thanks for watching and happy running.